What a crazy week for the beginning of August. We just finished July. It seemed like everything's okay. And then August came upon us. The worst opening since who even remembers? Let's summarize the week. And of course, we will start with the stunning breaking news. Warren Buffett, Berkshire Hathaway sells 50% of their Apple holdings. Oh my God. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new, my name is Micha, and on this channel, we talk about stocks, we talk about the stock market, and everything and anything that happens on it. Remember one thing, that everything you see here is not financial advice. It's only for education and entertainment purpose only. And today we're celebrating. Actually, we're celebrating. We celebrated on our Hebrew channel. Yes, this is Hebrew, by the way. And on the Hebrew channel, we got to 100K subscribers. But on this channel, we're still at 3.9. So if you're new, please subscribe to the channel. That will help the channel grow, expose, and more people would understand better what's going on in the market. And that, of course, brings us to the highlights of the week. Look at the major averages, all of them down. But the very interesting thing is RSP, the equal weighted S&P 500, which means that every company has the same weight, outpaced all the others. It's better than the S&P, better than the NASDAQ, and better than the Russell. What it means is that the breadth opened up during the week. Yes, the big companies fell by 3% by average. That's why we see the NASDAQ down 3%. And their average in the S&P is bigger. But this is very interesting. So when you think that everything is crashing, it's not really the case. Russell down 6.8%. That didn't feel good for anyone that hoped that this is going to be the summer of small caps. I don't even know if it's the end of summer of all caps, but small caps, but we'll see that. And that brings us, of course, to the indices. Look at utilities, up 4.2 for the week. Real estate up 2.7 for the week. Communication up 1.2, mainly due to Meta. But on the flip side, we see technology down 5.3 for the week. That's really dramatic. And here we see the crypto market. As you can see it down, Bitcoin down 9%, Ether down 11.5%. Commodities, crude oil down 3.6, natural gas down 1.25, and we see both silver and gold up about 2%. That brings us to the Magnificent Seven, or this week, some of them were the Awful Seven. Amazon down 8%. These are trillion-dollar companies, except Tesla, that are moving like penny stocks. Amazon down 8% for not such a bad earnings. Just, I want to say basic earnings. Tesla down 5%, Nvidia down 5%, Microsoft down 3%, Google down, and Apple, which we're going to talk about extensively in a second, up for the week, plus 0.8%, and Meta up 4% due to their earnings. That, of course, brings us directly to the earnings of last week. What did we hear from the big companies? So again, it's a lot of information, not all of it the same. AMD came out with very solid earnings. On the flip side, Intel on Thursday, horrible earnings. Both of them are producers of chips. Amazon with okay earnings. Apple, same, okay earnings. Now let's look at Meta. Amazing earnings. Snapchat, very bad earnings. ARM, okay earnings, but lowering their forecast. Qualcomm, the same, very good earnings, but mediocre forecast. So we can start hearing from companies feeling a bit stressed, but the big companies aren't really feeling that. The only problem, if we take Microsoft for an example, 7 out of 8 business, let's call them focus areas, came out amazing. Only one portion, very small, didn't grow as expected. But because they ran so fast, so hot from the beginning of the year, they're now correcting. And if we're talking about correcting, Warren Buffett sells, I want to say correcting his mistake, but it wasn't a mistake. He bought Apple since 2014 or 16, if I'm not mistaken. He is now sold 50% during the quarter. 50% of his Apple holdings went down from 135 billion to 84. Yes, I know it's not exactly 50%. You don't need to do the math. But he didn't try to time it. He didn't try to focus on selling on day one or day two. At the end of the day, Apple during the quarter went up 22%. So it wasn't a smart sell from a timing perspective. But this is something that we should be aware of. And that only piles up to the billionaires selling, Jensen selling a lot of NVIDIA stock, Jeff Bezos selling a lot of Amazon stock. What do they know that we don't? We will probably only hear about it when it happens. Ryan Dietrich from Carson Group updates us that the first 2 days of August were so bad that it's the worst start since September 2011, and of course, and it's the worst start of an August since 2002. That's how bad things are. Everyone during Friday learned about the SAM rule. SAM rule is defined by an increase of unemployment greater than 0.5% versus the year before, and it happened on the jobs report we got on Friday, where unemployment jumped to 4.3. What it means is it's an early indicator of a recession coming. According to this indicator, which is an early indicator, if you get that increase that triggers the alert, it means that recession is coming in the next few months, whether it's 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 5 months, a big question. No one knows. We talked about this, but we also see a lot of volatility in the market. The market is on the edge. Every piece of information moves the market from everything's okay to everything is bad, and we're feeling that. And to top it off, the VIX went up almost 100% in the last few days. The VIX is the volatility index. Again, shows a lot of fear in the market, and we're back in fear territory, in the fear and greed as well. NASDAQ down 10% from its peak, which means it's now in correction territory. Now, if it's down 9%, it's not in correction. If it's 10, it is. You never know. Berkshire also selling Bank of America. This is during the week, not during the quarter. Several large sales of Bank of America, which didn't contribute to the Bank of America share. On the other side, we do have MicroStrategy keep buying more and more Bitcoin, setting that, let's call it bottom or floor for the Bitcoin price, another $2 billion, which they're going to raise to buy Bitcoin. Mizu's Jared Holtz updates us that the new results coming out of Eli Lilly for their Zepbound shows that there is better efficiency, not only on reducing weight, but also on heart disease, which opens up more addressable market for the GLP-1 injections. The DOJ opens an investigation against the acquisition of NVIDIA, of a startup called Run AI by NVIDIA. The Fed, even that happened this week. We had the Fed that decided not to do anything, but opens the door to reducing rate. And right now, the market believes that the reduction of rate would be at least 25 basis points, if not 50 basis points, and also thinks that the Fed might be behind the ball. Snoop also surprised that NVIDIA during the week, through all the volatility, added $329 billion to their market cap. That doesn't bring them back to where they were, but on one single day, that's something that never happened before. And also, we got this on Friday, that NVIDIA new chip, the Blackwell, is delayed because there was found a few design flaws. That's not good news for NVIDIA, of course. And Boeing finally finds a new CEO to replace Dave Calhoun. It's going to be Kelly Ortberg. And Delta, at least from their CEO, we heard it on CNBC, they figured out that they have lost or spent $500 million due to what happened, the problem they had between CrowdStrike and Microsoft. And that would be very interesting if they'll take it to court, what the judge will decide on that matter. Uber and BYD decided that they're going to pack a multi-year strategy partnership and design and produce, of course, $100,000 new BYD cars that will work as an Uber fleet across Europe and Latin America. VST Vistra Group, which is reporting this week, has gotten another approval to expand their nuclear plant. That's very bullish news, at least for the energy sector, which needs more and more energy because of the AI chips. Taiwan Semi starts construction on their first European plant, ticker is TSM, and Intel. What a horrible earnings report. One of the worst that we heard in the last few months. And that, of course, brings Intel to a point where they need to reduce a lot of their spend, to a point that they're going to fire 15% of their employees in a cost-cutting effort of $10 billion. Meta agrees to settle with Texas state on biometric lawsuit and pay $1.4 billion. Tesla, that was Meta. Tesla in China keeps breaking the records, and Mobileye reported this week, which complained that that China is slowing down. Tesla is not seeing that slowdown. They saw it already in the past, and now they're generating more growth on that front. Novo Nordisk reporting this week is going to have the GLP-1 is showing better results also on Alzheimer's disease, and Donald Trump. Donald Trump was at the Bitcoin conference, offered a lot of promises to the Bitcoin community, from firing chair member Gary Gensler to adding Bitcoin to the US reserve, a lot of promises. But the problem, and why Bitcoin is crashing, is due to a lot of things. But one of the reasons is that currently, in predicted website, Kamala Harris is leading on Donald Trump. And if he's not going to be the president, then all these promises are not relevant anymore. Where were we? We were here. Last but not least, Apple. Apple delaying some of their AI features at least to October, which means that people will buy the new phone without the AI features, although some of them have already been shipped to the beta users, the new Siri design, and all the rest. We will see in the next few months, probably next few weeks, a lot of feedback on what they have done there. Are you ready for next week? Tensions in the Middle East. Fear from market crash. SAM rule triggered. All of these are just the beginning, but before we talk about them, let's look at the companies. We're going to have the ride-hailing companies report, Uber and Lyft. We're going to hear from Supermicro and others. We have Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk, so the GLP-1 front. We have a lot of software companies. These are the smaller. You can see from the logos and the names. We got Palantir, Lucid, Rivian. We get two car companies, which are the EV companies. We have Cheniere and Oxy. We have also Nikola as well. So we have a lot of companies. You can see them here. It's going to be very, very interesting this week. Between all the Fed that is going to talk during the week, they're going to try to explain that they're probably going to reduce rate and the market shouldn't fear and blah, blah, blah. We're going to hear all that. And of course, brings us to the S&P 500. You remember the 100-day moving average? We talked about it. You remember when? I'll tell you exactly when. April 20th. Weekly summary. April 20th, S&P touched the 100-day moving average and turned around. Are we going to see the same thing here? I don't know, but it's very interesting to see the phenomena. If we break that 129, we might get to 116. But if we turn around here and start moving up, then it was just a correction for the sake of correction. We will follow this through during the week. Hope you enjoyed this weekly summary. If you can smash that like button, that would be amazing. By the way, if you comment on things that you're interesting for me to record on this English channel, that would be very insightful, and maybe I'll add more videos and not only the weekly summary. Till next time, Micha Stocks saying bye-bye.